Thank God it's over.
Finally, 40 episodes of this trash.
Yep.
And it really started to fall apart there at the end.
Well, because there was no continuity. We had the one major...
Oh, I was just talking about frame rate.
Oh, yeah, no, that was rough.
Like, animation just started to fall apart.
It just started to die, and, yeah, it was... No, none of these say unaired.
Yeah, it's Tourist Trap.
Oh, it was Tourist Trap?
Yeah.
That one didn't seem really worthy of being unaired.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe something happened.
I have a few others that I feel like should have been unaired, but...
Is it the Godzilla surgery?
It's the Dream, and it's the Twister.
No, the Twister was great.
Man, fuck off.
Anyway, it opens up with Metamorphosis, the Mothra movie.
Yes, we get the 98 version of Mothra, which is a giant centipede that sprays white stuff, because this was the 10 episode run of Secretions. Everything shot out something gooey, and it was awful.
It truly was the Heisei era.
It was bad. So giant centipede apparently fused with a cicada, and it became a giant cicada, which just sat atop a tower, putting out a mating call to nothing.
It vibrated wildly. The Megapede.
Fuck the Megapede. And then Godzilla took down an entire tower to fight it.
Yeah, there was this whole buildup of, hey, we got a $5 million check that went nowhere.
Yeah. French lady just said, I'm controlling the money, and they were like, okay.
And yeah, and that was it for that.
We never even found out who the donor was.
I think they drowned Mothra the beetle, the cicada.
Yes, it was drowned. Like every other bug, it died.
Yeah.
Okay, where is thy sting?
That was at the end of a scorpion.
Which couldn't even sting Godzilla.
Hey, it shot acid at him and then was able to sting him.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
So, they go to New Mexico.
We were hoping they were going to Area 51, but that came later.
I don't remember why they went to New Mexico, aside from...
There was a plane crash. They heard about a plane crash and 2 people disappeared. They never found those people.
I'm sure they're fine.
Well,
anyway, Randy gets stung by a scorpion, has visions of the future.
Well, he was told by the Navajo to
get stung by a scorpion.
He's like, the scorpion will da-da-da-da-da, and then they're like, you know Navajo? And he was like, yeah, because the Germans couldn't crack it in World War II. And I was like, that's a callback. That'll become very awkward when we get to the last episode. The fact that he knows Navajo perfectly. But anyway, he gets stung by a scorpion and has visions of exactly what happened.
Except the scorpion now has like a skull face.
Yeah, and
like a really defined skull face.
And the people are scorpions, and he knows about Wave 1 or whatever.
Wave 2.
No, he knew about... But he mentioned Wave 1.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so a man that is of Texas crashes a plane and gets taken hostage by a scorpion and army dudes. That's how we start the episode, and then Randy gets stung by a scorpion, has visions, and starts going around. He's like, tell me about the scorpion people. And we're like, yes, that is what we want. I want scorpion hybrid humans.
No. Not from this.
No, sadly no. But they made a giant scorpion, and then they made mini scorpions. And here's the problem. These mini scorpions are contained in glass containers, where they just passively sit around and do nothing.
I mean, they're in a container. What are they going to do? Like,
Okay. But these scorpions, all scorpions, have been shown to have an acid that will break down anything.
Yeah, well, these scorpions are stupid. They're babies.
Clearly stupid, because the acid from Wave 1, the giant one, melted the containers that were holding the Wave 2 scorpions, which have a stronger acid because they take down the bigger scorpion.
Yeah, it's great. So basically, they use the pheromones from the big scorpion to lure the smaller scorpions to just latch onto the big scorpion, and then they they get him back to the base, and then even more scorpions are there, and then they all get roasted.
They all get roasted. We barely see it, but what's hysterical is that the mini albino scorpions have the ability to shoot web, which was relevant not at all, except to hold down the giant scorpion, which is incredible if you have to think about it, because the anchor points are the mini scorpions, which shouldn't be able to hold it down, but they do. It's dumb.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of tiny scorpions.
It was hysterical because we're like, of course it gets swarmed. That's how any giant monster gets defeated in this universe. A swarm of smaller monsters.
Yeah.
Rats, scorpions,
termites,
whatever you want. Yeah, so that was dumb. And then they're like, when's Wave 3 going to come up? Don't worry, Wave 3 will never happen.
You say that, and what if they make Godzilla?
This isn't coming back.
What if it does?
Who? Why?
Yes.
If any animated American thing is coming to us, it's going to be based off the Legendary stuff. Because that's current. It's not going to be 98.
That'd be unfortunate. Why wouldn't it just be more Power Hour? Speaking of which, there's one episode of Power Hour we haven't seen yet.
Which one?
It deals with the Y2K bug. It's a short.
Excuse me?
Yes!
Hanna-Barbera made
Yes.
one last...
Yes. And it doesn't feature Godzilla.
Then what does it matter?
It matters because it's the crew from Godzilla Power Hour.
But it doesn't... But there's no Godzilla,
Godzuki might be in it. Anyway.
Okay.
Underground movement.
What?
Biolante.
Oh, yes.
The mushroom.
Biolante, the fungus. The crew's getting sued by Miami because
of war crimes.
Because of the bat, which I don't remember attacking Miami. But regardless, so all that's left is Mendel and Randy. God damn it. And they are forced to get along because they're both morons and decide to go out to Minnesota by themselves.
Michigan.
Yeah, one of the M's. Somewhere north. And they lose everything to the fungus, and...
they have to go extreme camping.
Yes.
And there's a montage that happens off-screen.
There was a montage of amazing events that we will be told. All we see is that they make arrows and spears.
And they catch a couple bugs. And they filter water through a sock.
That was gross. It was dumb, but these two become best friends for all of the 5 minutes that is left in this episode. And Godzilla roasts the brain of a giant mushroom. And I think that's really all that's worth talking about.
Yeah, that sounds well. The mushroom feeds off amino acids or something like that.
Yeah, it drinks French lady. It's awkward.
And then she was fine after a while.
It was dumb. Yep. All right. So we move on to the Twister. Okay.
This is the highlight of this.
This is in contention for the dumbest episode of the series, other than the Dream Monster, which we could make the argument is quite literally a dream match. This, however, is just a mishmash of stupidity. So, they're on the beach, and they lose the volleyball in the water, and suddenly a tornado shows up. And we're like, what?
Yeah, tornadoes, whatever.
And the tornado destroys the beach, and a stupid joke is made, and they eventually find out that the tornado originated from a nuclear power plant, which has been experimenting with combining nuclear fission with wind energy. And I'm sitting there going, what? Are you turbo powering the windmills with nuclear power? What's the point of that?
We have created a sentient tornado.
We created a tornado which got mixed with something that we see footprints of that grows as it climbs up and clearly got caught in the tornado. And, yeah. So there's an understanding that something is in the tornado. And so,
it wasn't Power Hour Godzilla.
Sadly, no. But Nigel got sucked up into the tornado, so they managed to link up with it, and they find Jaws that crushed Nigel, and somehow that leads them to a shrew.
It had the same jawline.
Apparently.
It didn't.
Not really.
Not with the picture they showed us, and not with what we saw later.
Nope.
Anyway, they start calling it the Shrewster.
Tornado, Twister and Shrew. The Shrewster.
And what did you think it was originally?
Shrew and a rooster. Which, it sounded stupid from the get-go. It sounded like something I would name a Sandshrew in Pokemon. It's the Shrewster.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, it was dumb. Anyway, Godzilla scares off the tornado, and that's what clues them in that something's in the tornado. I don't know why that would clue you into anything, other than the fact that, yes, I guess...
This tornado ran away from a giant lizard. That would probably clue you in.
So,
tornadoes don't typically run.
My favorite part of the entire episode, in which we both started to lose it, was that their theory, which turned out to be completely true, was that the nuclear experiments mutated a shrew. And that shrew got combined with a tornado created by this stupid experiment, and thus we have fused in a hybrid of stupidity a shrew and a tornado, and somehow the shrew controls it.
It's amazing.
It's really dumb.
Anyway, they stop it with a jet engine.
Yep, they blow apart the tornado, and the shrew, much to my dismay, cannot recreate the tornado.
Yeah, and then he just kind of gets pinned under some scaffolding.
Yeah.
And they're like, we did it! Hooray!
Yeah, Godzilla melts it around it, and they take it to Monster Island.
Except we don't see it on Monster Island when we go there next.
Hey. You forgot some setup, because they mentioned Monster Island. And literally, you were like, you think we're going to go to Monster Island? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I was like, no, we're going to go to Monster Island. They wouldn't mention it and leave us hanging. Despite the fact that Where Is Thy Sting definitely did. And literally the opening to this next episode, which is SCALE as an acronym. I don't even remember what the acronym stands for, but it's really dumb.
Oh god, it's Servants of creatures arriving late on Earth.
Yeah, it's awful. But anyway, it immediately opens with footage where what's-her-face, Audrey, tells us that she is on Monster Island. And I'm like, oh my god. And don't worry, I'm pretty sure we had a couple of amazingly good guesses throughout this episode. This episode was weirdly predictable.
Yeah, somehow.
Despite the fact that it was completely stupid. But, so, we're shown a mosquito thing that shoots fireballs. And then we go back.
I think his name was Skeetora.
Yes. Yes.
I just want them to know.
Skeet is Skeetora.
Yes.
I hate it. Anyway, they go back, and it's all footage from random cameras. Because apparently we are watching the cut-together footage of what was going to be the greatest news story of all time. Despite the fact that it was kind of crappy. But it was terrible, and then we just... I don't know.
It would have been great for the time.
I eventually just ignored it because I wanted to pay attention to what was going on. So, they're fighting this giant mosquito, and it sucks Godzilla's blood and immediately gains fireball powers. And they're like, that's bad. It's drinking blood and gaining powers. That's not good. And then they notice that when it shoots fireballs, it shrinks, so Godzilla roasts it until it's much smaller. They catch it.
And then they take it to Monster Island.
But Nick is like, we need to study this thing. It's kind of a problem.
We don't want this thing hanging around with other mutants at the moment.
That would be bad. And so he's like, all right, you got 48 hours or whatever. And then the news crew sneaks aboard the ship, as they do.
And Audrey at this point has been bugged by the scale leader.
Oh god, I forgot to mention halfway through the chase after the mosquito, a submarine of unknown origin comes out of the water, and some crazy lady yells that some nonsense about monsters being important.
We can't kill the mutants. They're good people. Or something. I don't know, maybe.
It's dumb. And, yeah, she gets captured, but she gets off somehow.
You know, probably connections.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. They're at the island now.
Yeah, they're at the island, and What's-Her-Face is there with her submarine and her crew. And there is a great shot of them storming the main command center.
Free the mutants!
And a man with a stupid bright blue afro turns, raises one hand, and goes, "Free the mutants!" And then it cuts. And we're like, this is dumb. And, yeah, so they fucking free all the monsters, and of course...
All three of them.
Yeah, it's the rogues gallery of the bat, the cobra, and the weird monster that fed on the squid from episode, 2. Because those are the Ghidorah, Anguirus, and Rodan of this series.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a shitty group. But anyway, as it sucks the blood from these things, it begins to combine their powers into, you guessed it, fireballs.
Did it really combine the powers? I know they said it did.
They said it did.
But, I didn't see it.
But the result of the combining of powers was its ability to spew orange fireballs instead of green ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, great, amazing. Such creativity.
Anyway, the scale leader, she's like, "Come eat me!"
Take me now! And I'm like, what? This is dumb.
I wish to be consumed by a mosquito.
The Earth got along just fine without us, and it'll get along just fine without us again. And I'm like, are you completely insane?
And then she got arrested.
Yeah. And she's like, tell our story. And then she doesn't. Or Audrey doesn't.
She tells the story to Nick, and then she throws the videotape into the fireplace.
She's like, there goes my Pulitzer. And I'm like, I don't know, that would have gotten you a Pulitzer, but whatever.
No, it would have gotten you fucking high treason and probably arrested.
Yeah, revealing government secrets. That would be bad. And then we move on to Future Shock.
Now, if you couldn't guess, this one's about the past.
Not really.
Yeah, I know.
So they're chasing a weird bug monster because that's just what we fight now.
Well, yeah, bugs are easy.
And they go into a storm, and when they come out, everything's ruined.
It was a uranium storm.
Clearly.
Just wads of uranium flying everywhere.
It's crazy. They go into the future.
Also, Kraven had to stay behind because he was sick. This is important.
Yes, it is important. So they go into the future where the world is ravaged by flying triceratops.
Called dragmas.
Basically, it's Rain of Fire.
It's a good time for everybody. These dragmas, there's a lot of them. They don't die.
Yeah.
They take some future guns back to the past.
They literally have BFGs.
Also, Kraven's there in the future. He's buff. He's an action star.
Yeah, he's got a scar and everything. And...
Also, Nigel got pretty swole. He was very large.
Oh yes, Nigel really filled out and talks like Randy. God.
I don't know if I picked up on that. I mean, I know they said it.
Yeah, they kept saying.
But I didn't hear it.
I did hear it, and
I think I might have been making jokes.
Yeah, the show got fairly dumb. I still think the Twister was dumber, but regardless.
Oh yeah, I know. Future Kraven's like, here you go. Here's future gun.
Go.
Give it to past me. Stop the guy who makes these things.
Yeah, there's a guy, and Dragma is also a backronym which we forgot. But apparently this man wants to send us back to the Stone Age because people are too reliant on technology. So he's going to create giant monsters to send us back.
Yeah. It was real good.
Yeah, so he's like, no, technology is evil, as I use technology to make giant monsters. And it turns out their super guns are really good against the mini Dragmas, because they're not as good. And then the Dragmas try and eat their creator, because of course they don't care.
You know, this was the first episode of season 2.
Ouch.
I don't know why it's so far back.
I don't know. Still dumb.
Yeah, this happens next year, by the way, guys. 2022.
Yeah.
The Dragma's reign.
Prepare for Dragma. Year of Dragma.
Okay, I'm finding all the, I'm finding Dragma in here as acronyms. I want to find out what it actually...
Oh, boy. Yeah, so...
Democratic resurgence against a global mechanized Armageddon. That's even dumber than what I thought it was gonna be.
That's why I saw it. I'm like, he's preventing Terminators? What is this? And no, it's just about fighting technology in general. And it's like, what? Yeah, so this man is stupid. And he's completely unset up beforehand. There's all these new villains.
Yeah, we miss out on Wealthy McHandsome.
Yeah, he just doesn't come back. Which, I'll be honest, I'm good.
And then King of the Hill's been arrested, so they're just gone.
Yeah, it's all over. Anyway, end of the line. What? I don't remember this.
Yeah, I was trying to think about which one this one was. But, I don't remember it either.
Yeah, I don't remember anything between the going to the future and Area 51. Although I'm sure there was something in between it.
Let's see. Oh, this was the one where Godzilla wants to get his freak on.
Oh! How could we forget?
Because End of the Line doesn't sound like Godzilla getting his freak on.
No, it doesn't. Although I guess you could say it's the end of the line of him. But he doesn't actually get it on. He's just stepdaddy.
Yeah.
Which is fitting.
To an egg.
Because so is Nick.
Anyway, so Nick and Audrey are on a cruise. They're talking like, hey, should I take this London job or not? Because if I take this, we won't be able to see each other. And Nick's like, but I want to get married, but he doesn't say that. And then they get thrown off the boat.
Yeah, it's basically the Titanic, but the iceberg is a giant turtle.
Yeah, Gamera's here.
Or the magnetic beast. God, I wish.
But yeah, so they get thrown off. And they're in Alaska, by the way, so it's like cold water.
Oh, it should have killed them.
And they just, next morning they drift up ashore, and they're like, hey,
we're just
dust ourselves off, let's start a campfire after we walk 6 miles down the road.
And then he almost proposes again before she falls asleep. And then a giant turtle shows up and goes, yo, no fornicating on my beach.
This is a kid's beach. Just letting you know.
I am the lifeguard. You teenagers need to knock this shit off. And then Godzilla shows up. Or not Godzilla, I'm sorry. The Komodo dragon that is a sort of Godzilla.
Yeah, supposedly it's Godzilla.
With a blue breath. And a forked tongue.
And lust to get it on with another lizard.
Well, not exactly. She's looking for a dad. Because that would be nice. Because she has an egg. One egg. Not 200, just one.
That she can fertilize herself.
Because she's another Zilla. And Godzilla shows up and goes, yo, get the fuck out. We're about to get our freak on, and you do not want to see what this looks like.
You do not get to watch me, Dad.
This is weird. Please leave.
So he slams the door closed, and everybody's just like, well, I guess we'll go back to the boat then.
Yeah, and then the
Alaskan Coast Guard's like, we gotta kill Godzilla, because, fuck Godzilla.
We can't have these lizards banging. It's not okay. No one wants it. And they're like, but talk to what's-his-face. And he's like, he doesn't have jurisdiction here. It's like, he's part of the U.S. military. Probably would. But anyway.
No jurisdiction.
So, clearly these men know nothing about fighting Godzilla because they decide to fight him in attack helicopters.
Yeah, Godzilla's favorite plaything.
The thing that he clearly outwits constantly.
Yeah, his favorite plaything.
Yeah, so,
the turtle steals the egg after they distract Godzilla.
Yeah, and...
Because they're like, we need to get Godzilla away from the action.
We need Godzilla to stop banging this other lizard because he'll probably get killed. And instead, the turtle headbutts female Zilla and steals the egg, and then Godzilla shows up and goes, "What the fuck?
My baby!
My step baby and my girlfriend. I'm going to kill a motherfucker. Someone is going to die.
I'm gonna go make turtle soup."
Yes, he goes all Shredder on us, and then female Zilla shows up to beat up Turtle.
And then they all fall in a hole, except Godzilla. He just kind of watches.
He's like, "No, my possible family." And then Nick doesn't get the chance to propose, even though she says she'll stay. And yeah, so that's the end of that episode.
And then Godzilla just kind of like gets his body pillow of an iceberg. He just wraps.
Oh yeah, it just wraps around the thing. He's like, "No, I only got my freak on for like 2 hours.
I didn't get to bang." Yeah. And then we went to Area 51.
Yes, where there was a giant armadillo and a surfer man and some random dude who's halfway to Elvis break in and almost get taken out by an armadillo.
And then they take a picture of the armadillo, and then they like Photoshop it so it looks like a UFO.
It's really dumb because they saw the armadillo.
So the Heat team has to unphotoshop it to reveal the armadillo,
which is really dumb.
And yeah, so they go there. Randy falls in love with the
base lady. She's a blonde, I guess, and he's like, literally the words are, "She's hot," and I'm like, oh, classic romance. And so they're all like, they basically break into Area 51. They cut a hole in the wall with a laser.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
You can just do that.
Totally. And they get caught. And then the armadillo shows up because they're like, "We're studying all sorts of crazy
we got
flora.
Mutants. We got mutants everywhere.
We got mutant flora." And then you hear a rumbling, and I'm like, "No, you've also got mutant fauna. Let's not pretend." And armadillo bursts out, and then Randy takes point and is like, "We'll tangle him up in this tree that has stupidly awesome roots."
They're very large roots.
And so they blow a hole in the dirt, and then Randy makes it a point to be a hero and traps it in the roots. And What's-Her-Face gets all hot and bothered. And it turns out they're both in the rock music. But anyway,
another mutant has escaped.
Yeah, they discussed that one of them has escaped along with the armadillo, but the armadillo couldn't get out for whatever reason. This big red bastard.
Yeah, big red.
Like the gum. He's spicy.
He was very spicy. He had needles.
Oh god.
That shot out from behind his head.
Yeah, he just kind of weirdly lowered his head and then got projectiles. And
each needle had the poison of 20 scorpions. Now, we don't know if it was like big scorpions or tiny scorpions.
We are very unclear on the levels of venom, but they clearly didn't do enough to Godzilla, so it might have been regular scorpions. Yeah, so what's even more amazing is that these projectiles pierced his skin while the scorpion could not.
Yeah, the scorpion had to spray acid on Godzilla.
Yeah, so clearly it also had the power of 20 scorpions to be able to pierce his hide. But regardless, it also doesn't do shit. But yeah, so in the process of chasing these things down, What's-Her-Face, the base lady, and Randy really get along. And he makes a windboard out of junk.
Yeah, out of, like, a Humvee.
Humvee parts and...
He took the rubber part off the wheels.
Yeah.
I feel like that needs to be explicitly said.
Not really.
No, because that would not travel very well.
It would just be really bumpy.
Yeah, and also he had sheets and whatnot. But yeah, he uses his windboard, gets ahead of the thing.
He shoots it with a tranq dart, and it falls out.
Yeah, its soft underbelly was not actually that soft.
Or he just hit a less soft part of the underbelly. Either way, he gets pinned to the wall by needles.
Yeah, that surprisingly don't, impale him.
Yeah, he just gets...
But that would be kind of graphic.
He gets super lucky. And then Goji shows up and flips him over and roasts him.
Yeah, he roasts his soft underbelly.
It's
then he opens up the doors to Area 51, struts out, and everybody's just like, they were holding Godzilla in Area 51!
I don't know how that happened, because I thought that was still in the same place where they cornered Big Red.
It was.
Why did it go back to Area 51?
Well, it hadn't...
It was supposed to go to Vegas.
Yeah, it was heading out of Area 51.
But why did it go back? Because that's where he...
I think it escaped the containment cell.
Oh my god.
And then it was, like, leaving.
Yeah, and then...
It didn't get out. I think that's the reason why they had to build the Wind Rider thing, is to catch him before he got out.
Oh, okay. I guess they made Area 51 a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah, it's very large.
But anyway, yeah, they defeat it. Godzilla roasts this thing's junk because he's got serious blue balls from losing his girlfriend. And then Randy manages to score a date with blonde girl. This will never come up again.
Yeah.
It also makes French girl jealous.
For some reason.
This will also never come up again. There will be no fulfillment on any relationships whatsoever.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of payoff. Anyway, speaking of payoff, the tourist trap, unaired.
Yes.
There's a big fish. A man wants to,
He sells tours.
So this guy is basically like, yo, I'm just gonna get this big old boat, have people get on the boat, and we'll just drive around Manhattan Bay, and we can watch Godzilla do a thing.
Clearly.
And so he runs the boat aground because he's dumb.
Yes.
And then he somehow unagrounds himself because he's dumb.
And he gets rich people to show up and film him attracting the giant fish.
Yeah, so this giant fish is called the Depth Dweller or something like that. It's dumb.
It's
very sensitive to light, much like OG Godzilla.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just upset that it's in shallow water. That's the big issue.
Yeah, and so it ate a ship, which was hilarious, and then it ate what's his face's ship, who gets rescued and decides to go and try and steal shit from Heat, and succeeds in doing so while also stealing their helicopter.
Yeah.
And then they manage to lure the fish to deeper water with flashlights on the sub and Nigel. And then they get stuck in the fish, like one of its weird sections that has dirt in it.
Yeah,
and
the thing.
And they almost implode while Nigel gets crushed. And then Goji shows up and frees them, and then they get out, and then they're like, we can deal with what's-his-face, and he's about to reveal that Nick is Godzilla's stepdad, when they're like, yo, some man stole this helicopter, we found it, we believe he's in the building, and then they arrest him, and nobody finds out.
Yeah, it was great.
What an episode.
And then Godzilla gets Godzilla napped.
Yes!
By rich people.
While the fart beetle attacks the base.
Yeah, so they go to this secret island where a man is basically setting up cage matches with
giant monsters.
Yeah, with the mutants.
There was the Shrewster was there, fighting a random green bug.
And then there was a shadow of a giant monster in a tiny little window. And it's just Godzilla.
He's just peeking out like, yo, what's going on? What's up? He was dumb.
Let me out.
And Nick and what's her name? Redhead.
Oh, Elsie.
Elsie, they sneak in. We forgot about them in their weird jet ski submersibles when they encounter a shark.
Yeah, the worst looking shark.
It was a very dumb shark, and I'm like, that shark wouldn't just like try and eat people. That's not how sharks work. But they blast it with some air, and it goes fuck that, and leaves. And that was uneventful. And they get in, and Nick and Elsie infiltrate as waiters, and then Randy and Monique.
They travel through the sewers.
Great time.
And basically, so Godzilla now has to fight the Rhinoceros. That's the main event of the night.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll just throw Nick and Elsie into the thing too. That'll be spicy.
We completely forgot about the villain's name. Spiel.
Yeah, I know it's Maximilian Spiel.
Maximilian Spiel and his cohort Josephson?
Carl Josephson.
He had a dumb name. Everyone had a dumb name, and they kept saying Spiel. It's the Spiel. What's the Spiel? They never made that joke. I was so sad. But yeah, our man, the Spiel.
The Spielster.
Who has no accent, which is very weird, because his right-hand man definitely did. But yeah, regardless, they all basically get captured. Sort of.
Well, Randy and Monique don't.
Randy and Monique get flushed.
Yeah, they work their way into the fart beetle's lair.
Yeah, which is
while great. Nick and Elsie get thrown into
the arena with Goji and
to spice things up, and then Spiel's like, didn't I tell you this was a tag team match? And it really wasn't.
Not really.
And then he releases the fart beetle, which also releases
Randy and Monique.
Yeah, now they're in the thing, and Craven, who was on the boat with Audrey and Animal, they're like, well, we got to go in there and save them.
Yes.
So they go in there. He smashes the dude's face with a door.
It was kind of great.
The dude just falls over. Dude was like twice his size.
Yeah, but I actually thought that Craven was just going to get into the prison truck. Just to be like, nope, we're caught. Take us. But then smashed him with the door.
And then he makes a laser out of a camera and a wristwatch.
Yeah, he's like, it's like a tuning fork, and it'll take out the giant penis firing the piss laser at Godzilla.
Yeah, that's to blind Godzilla so he can't, escape.
Yes. I believe I said that's penis, and then it fired a yellow laser. It was a good time.
It was quite something.
It was perfect timing. But anyway, this series has had a bit of a thing with phallic objects. But regardless, he describes it as a tuning fork, and then it just fires a blast that blows up the laser, and we're just like, they just made a laser cannon, whatever. And that saves Godzilla, and Godzilla beats up the monsters and everyone.
And then he throws the fart beetle at Spiel.
And Spiel gets pinned under the fart beetle, and that's really kind of it.
They're like, we need to go save him. We can walk. We can wait.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And then, so there's a running gag in this episode that Randy is trying to learn French.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he's bad at it, obviously. Despite knowing Navajo.
He tells Monique, at first, if she wants to put cheese on her head.
Politely.
Yes, politely. And then says something about owning a cow and something rather... something that need not be stated, something very rude or unbecoming, I don't know. It was probably something Goji did with his girlfriend.
Probably.
But with a cow. And, yeah, so at the end, everyone gets a kiss, including Randy, because Monique wants him to shut up.
Yeah, every pairing just kind of They get together. Animal's nowhere to be seen. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then it ends with this is how the collection ends it, with Randy saying he doesn't know, like, his Chinese is really bad.
He's like, you want me to speak Chinese? My Chinese is also terrible. And it's like...
And that closes out the entire animated series for us.
Yes, all 40 goddamn episodes. We did it. Why did this go on for 40 minutes?
Well, you see, the last one, you were really tired. So that's why we just kind of, like, BS'd everything.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. I was luckily not asleep for this one.
This one, we were like, well, we should probably tell them what happened and all the things.
And the Twister happened, which probably... The Twister, Scale, and Future Shock was just, like, gut punch after gut punch of absolute stupidity that probably carried me to the end.
Yeah. I think end of the line... Yeah, no, from the Twister down to end of the line. Those 4 episodes.
I already forgot... Oh, yeah.
End of the line was getting the freak on.
Getting the lizardy freak on.
Like,
God, that was great.
The first 3 episodes kind of sucked. The last 3 episodes also just kind of sucked. Those 4 in the middle, though, those are
gems.
Oreo.
Those were gems.
That was an Oreo for you.
Yeah. All the good stuff was in the middle.
Alright, anyway, join us tomorrow when we do our whole wrap-up and recap.
Of fucking 98.
Yeah.
Great.
All of it.
Great. Oh.
I made an oopsie.
Yeah. What I was trying to say before the cut will happen is that we forgot that since this is the last session of the animated series, we have to rate it.
Woo!
Woo. I will say this. The animated series is at least a couple tiers above the Power Hour in every sense, in every way, until we got to the end where it started to die, but it was only like the last 2 episodes,
which is really funny because those were like midway through season 2. Like, I think
they must have been cost saving measures.
Yeah, because I think Cash of the Titans was like the 5th episode of season 2.
What was the end? Was it Scale? Like, I kind of want to know, and I kind of want to know why it's out of order.
I didn't make the thing.
I know, but, like, why would you put it out of order? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know the Godzilla surgery is after End of the Line. That's after Godzilla getting his freak on.
Damn! That's weird.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I almost feel like we should have watched them in order, but that would have been a nightmare.
I'm not going back to watch these again.
No, we're not. We're not going to touch this ever again. We got what we needed, and it's time for it to fade into the background. Here's the sad part. We're going to remember the characters of this show less. Mainly because they didn't present us with monster faces.
Alright, so the final episode was Vision. Or the final aired episode was Vision.
What was that?
That would have been the hummingbirds.
Really?
That's the wet fart they went out on.
God, that episode sucked. Wasn't that the last episode of the 3rd disc?
Yeah.
Why?
And then the other planned episodes were, the 2 unaired episodes.
Oh.
They both came after.
Which was the Tourist Trap and
the Mystical Bayou Bum.
Oh, God.
Scale was the 3rd episode of the 2nd season. Future Shock was the 1st. Cash of the Titans was the 2nd episode.
I don't... Like, Cash of the Titans... Like, I get why they put it at the end, because, like, everyone... for the human sake, everyone kind of got their... thing. Everyone got to get their freak on, most likely, except for Goji. But anyway, I believe... I mean, I don't know. Like, is there anything more to say as far as, like... Alright, like, let's just go through it. Nick
sucked.
Nick sucked, And so did Audrey. They both became weird, confident, self-centered jerks.
Yeah, it was amazing. They sucked.
They sort of improved when we got to End of the Line. But
which is really weird because since with that being the beginning of season 2, it means it goes back down.
Yeah.
Like it means the relationship gets worse.
Yeah, it's dumb, and their characters just don't really work, and their conflicts feel really stupid, and they like repeat similar mistakes, and
gotta play the hits.
It just isn't great. Mendel is like a caricature of what wasn't really even a character.
Yeah, he had one trait in the movie, and they turned that up to 11.
But then they added new traits that were like decent and made him a real character. For some reason, what's her face, redhead, became like obsessed with Nick.
Well, she was like that in the movie too.
Yeah, she said she said he was cute. That was really
okay, so they turned it up to 11.
Yeah, they turned that up to 11 as well, and then they
for the kids.
And then when she kissed Mendel at the end, that was decided. That one moment was decided to be turned into a romantic subplot that would eventually cash out once Mendel became a buff movie star, basically, a buff action hero. A random French lady was inserted, a French spy, and we occasionally got to see Philippe, which was always great. Philippe was great.
Yeah, the 2 times.
Philippe was not ruined in the slightest.
Yeah, because they didn't have time to.
True. Monique was kind of awful.
Yeah.
She was not a great character, and also there was never a point at which there was any finality to her and Randy ever coming together. Also, I hated the fact that they decided to take the 2 foreign people and mash them together.
Well, I mean,
I hated that.
They're also the 2 people who weren't in the original movie.
True, but it still felt dumb. It's like, oh, you got the person of color who's also Hispanic with dreads, which I'm not saying you can't do that. It's just, it felt like he was supposed to be black, but then they made him Hispanic. He probably was mixed. I don't know. I don't
think it matters.
I don't know what Randall is supposed to be.
Well, his last name is Hernandez.
Yeah. He's clearly there for diversity, and I can appreciate that. I just wish he thought less with his dick. That was kind of annoying. I did enjoy him messing with Nigel. Everything he added to Nigel was gold.
Yeah, the John Wayne impression. It's an ambush.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Nigel we'll get to. Monique sucked. Randy was decent. He was fine.
I think there were too many parts where they're like, what if we just made him, like, super lazy and incompetent?
Yeah.
Like, what if we made him the bad guy of the episode?
He's just the one who does certain things bad, and I appreciated in the first season where they're like, he made these mistakes, and he tried to correct them, and then made more mistakes, and there was some character build up there, but it's almost like they didn't expect to get a second season, and the second season just kind of flounders.
Yeah, and they don't really tie up any loose ends.
No, because I guess they got high off of what they thought was good, and they're like, we're just going to keep going, and they didn't, and no one was surprised. So, Nigel.
Easily the best character.
Nigel is destroyed every single episode.
Sometimes twice. Yes.
It is great. Sort of. but it got so rote that it was just like, okay, when's Randall gonna, or not Randall, when's Nigel gonna get it? And what voice is he gonna make when he dies?
Sometimes there was nothing.
Yeah, those sucked.
Sometimes he just got stepped on and we didn't hear anything. It's just...
And then the head always rolls off. But every so often, he would get a stupid voice. And it was great.
Sometimes he had a Texas accent.
That was great. One time he auctioned...
He auctioned a giant scorpion.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
And it's gone.
And I'm gone.
Yeah, it was like...
Because he gets launched into the air.
Yeah, it was good times. And
my favorite's still the John Wayne one.
The John Wayne one was entertaining. There were several that were fun, but they were mostly in season 1, thus they are lost to time. Other than that, not really much. There was Frost, who... Was his name Frost? No, Winter.
Yeah.
Winter sucked.
I've been calling him Handsome McWealthy or Wealthy McHandsome.
Yeah, he was...
Good-looking McRich.
He was a villain.
For 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of disappeared.
Which I was fine with. But the new villains weren't any good, so... You know.
Yeah, the villain of the week. Scale was great, though. Scale was the best. Eat me!
Yeah, Scale was the kind of dumb we deserved. And, yeah, so...
Oh, we gotta talk about Hicks.
Hicks was Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks was Hicks. Moving on.
Nothing changed about him. He wasn't ruined. He was just fine.
He was pretty consistent with his movie counterpart.
Pretty much.
Which is wild.
It's the one part that they had nothing, so they changed nothing. And that was fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so...
Monster Combat.
Yeah. It was fine. It was not Heisei.
It was varied. Like, there were different things happening most of the time.
My favorite part was in the intro, they show Godzilla, like, in a reasonably well-animated part, he shoves the weird squid-eating monster under the water. And that did happen. And that did happen on certain occasions, and it was...
No, I think you got it wrong. I think what... He gets shoved underwater, and then he reaches out and pulls him down.
That's the specific thing I'm thinking of, where he grabs the head and shoves it underwater.
Yeah.
And that came up a couple times, and it was like, it was nice to see combat that wasn't lasers.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of, like, getting swarmed by smaller things.
He got bodied by every swarm that existed. Except for the scorpions.
Yeah, because he was an ally to the scorpions.
No, because he roasted them.
No, because he was giving them a full-course meal.
Oh my god.
They were like, this big lizard is our dad. Oh no, he's lighting us on fire!
Anyway, that was dumb. But yeah, pretty much every swarm bodied Godzilla in this, and it was sad. And funny, to the point where when the mini scorpions swarmed the giant scorpion, I was like, the weakness! The swarm! It's the only one the giant monsters can't defeat. But yeah, it was acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, things happened. Godzilla dug a hole a couple times.
There were some good digging attacks. Some interesting strategy that came off as too intelligent.
Yeah, Godzilla's apparently really fucking smart.
Incredibly smart, which we don't fully explore, because in 98 it was very clear that this Godzilla is strategic and calculating, and thus when his defeat takes place, it takes place in a weirdly believable manner for a regular movie villain, where he's emotionally compromised and makes a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
This Godzilla is stupidly smart, where it's like, how do we know it didn't cause all the disappearances of the squid things? And it does like a weird whirlpool thing and it surfaces everyone, and I was like, that's dumb. And it doesn't get less dumb in their attempts to make him seem smart.
Yeah, he just kind of knows what to do.
He reads the script.
He's got a brick of space titanium.
Yeah, and
but anyway, this has nothing to do with monster combat now, does it?
It kind of does, but regardless.
I mean, we're kind of getting away from that.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know, 5 or 6. Take your pick.
Give it a 6.
Sounds good.
Different things happened.
Visual effects. Honestly, this show was fine.
Yeah, it looked fine, I guess.
There were parts that looked great. There were parts that looked like shit. And they were in equal parts and relatively minimal. Most of the time, this show just looked fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that there were a few episodes that didn't really look great.
Yeah,
Future Shock was one of them, with like the walking scene where
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
above and everybody just looks like
they're just blobs, and they come out of that walking scene and their proportions are jacked. Where
Yeah.
like their arms are like they end at their knees, and I'm just like, what is going on? This is a cost-saving episode.
yeah, it's the first episode of season 2 too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, it was relatively well balanced, and like I said,
It looked nicer than Power Hour.
which is in some ways not surprising. So, at least it was decent enough to watch.
Yeah.
So,
We weren't frame hunting.
there were some frames that would have been funny, but it would have been too much effort.
Yeah.
Because the HDCP is on, so we couldn't actually do it. We would have had to hunt for them somewhere else.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
spending more time with this. This is 14 hours.
Yeah.
And this is another hour of us talking about it.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Alright, because I honestly probably need to wrap this up. So, visual effects, 5.
Yeah, 5's good.
Plot,
Wait, hang on. What do we give the visual effects for Power Hour? I gotta make
3.
sure. Okay, 5's good.
Yes. Plot. Now, okay. So, the season 1 was interesting. I was engaged. Especially since it led to a really dumb fight with aliens.
Yeah, that whole part was great.
I was like, oh my god, it's Showa in 98. Crazy. It...
Season 2, or what we suspect is Season 2, just there was a lot of weird things that happened. Like,
none of it mattered.
there was a Godzilla surgery.
Yeah.
The Area 51 episode, they're like, well, we don't believe in aliens. You fought aliens!
Yeah, they forgot that they fought an alien invasion.
Scale. That was an episode that happened.
It just happened, and there was no follow-up. There was no setup, there was no follow-up. It just existed. I mean, it existed basically to show us Monster Island, which was lame.
Yeah, and then, like, the Twister happened. And that was dumb as hell.
That was really dumb. It got to Power Hour levels of no continuity.
Yeah, like, the first season, it felt like there was some continuity. Like, it felt like... Maybe it was just the way we watched the episodes.
I mean, yeah, it might have had more order to it, but yeah, season 2 just felt like shitty kids cartoon nothing.
Yeah. The stakes have never been lower.
Oh lord, they're in the stakes are in the earth, holding down a tent that contains Godzilla. I don't fucking know. Yeah, so plot.
Probably like a 4 or 5 somewhere in there. I mean, because like the good parts of season 1, I feel probably outweigh the bad parts of season 2.
Well, the thing was,
or at the very least, cancel it out.
Yeah, but I don't feel like... Okay, well, the lows of season 2 aren't too bad. I'd put it about a 3. And the highs of season 1, I don't think really break much more than a 6.
So 5.
Between a 3 and a 6, that's a 4.
That's 5. We're good. Monster War happened.
Fucking fine. 5. Acting. It was fine. Everyone was fine.
Yeah. I mean...
Nothing was terrible. I mean, some parts were terrible, but those were usually side characters.
Yeah.
Everyone was generally consistent with, regardless of whether their character was any good or not.
They were consistently their character.
Yeah, not much development happens.
Well, there'll be development that'll happen in an episode, and then the next episode, just like, nope, didn't happen, doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. Instead, like, all the development in season 1 was, Godzilla related, and then it feels like the absolute disaster that is the order of season 2 is meant to attempt to facilitate personal growth of the people, which didn't happen in that order.
No.
And was thus very weird. So, I don't know.
Probably a 4. It was fine. It was serviceable.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think there's any times where like, oh man, you suck. Except for the part where they kept saying spiel.
Spiel was bad. And
like,
the
they
Megapede.
enunciated it.
And the Megapede. And certain monster names were getting to power hour levels of stupidity.
Dragma.
Shrewster.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
God damn it. Anyway. God, I hate that Dragma was an acronym. Anyway, dub. There was no dub because it was American. Special mention.
It was the best character of the entire show.
Nigel.
Consistently dying.
Nigel
Yeah.
dies.
Nigel was great.
Nigel dies. I don't know. The problem is that it wasn't as Nigel dying was consistent, but Nigel himself wasn't always consistently funny.
Yeah. Probably a 1.
Okay.
It's like there were some really good ones in there, but they were very few and far between.
Yep. Alright. You want to know what it landed at?
Is it 23?
21.
Huh.
We gave it the same amount of points for acting as Power Hour.
Huh.
Not gonna lie, I'm not impressed with either.
No, yeah, no, it's fine.
So, 21, that is a point below 98.
Huh.
What? That feels wrong. Well, no, it actually doesn't. This wasn't... This... If this ended at season 1, it would have been great.
Oh, yeah, no, it would have.
It would have been just... good. Dumb, but good. And then season 2 just... It was a fish out of water just flopping around, and it just wasn't a good time.
Hey, guys, I'm still relevant, right?
No.
Right?
No, you're not. I hope Y2K makes you die. I don't want to touch that.
It's probably like 30 seconds.
I don't care. It's more Power Hour, and I can't deal with it.
Okay, well, this time for realsies, join us tomorrow for the wrap-up.
Oh, God.
See you guys later.
See ya.